Welcome into Bayou Bengals football. So let's talk about the state of LSU football right now. So they have 2 losses currently on the season. And with 2 losses, they're going to get a lot of the talk of, are they eliminated from the playoffs? And I'm going to say no, because last year, if you remember, LSU was in a similar situation. 2 losses. I know they dropped the loss to Texas A&M, but they were in a similar situation where if they would have won out with 2 losses, they would have been in the playoffs. So they currently sit with 2 losses, and they're 6-point favorites against Missouri this weekend. So to me, that shows that people still have a lot of confidence in this team. And to me, I have a lot of confidence in this team, but I think it's backed up. To me, I think it's justified. Like, I just kind of have like this weird I say it's kind of like a weird confident feeling, because I guess, like, even though LSU, they've lost, like, as they sit right now, you probably aren't, like, they're not in an ideal position as far as making the playoffs. And with 2 losses, that's the thing. I think when teams lose 2 losses early on, I think a lot of people just assume they're going to lose like 3, 4, 5 games. But I just have such confidence in this LSU offense. Like, I think this LSU offense, could move the ball against anyone. So that's why I just have the utter faith in this team, in this offense. So I really think that LSU, I guess where I'm getting at is I think LSU can win out. And I think that with their offensive line, it travels well. Jane Daniels playing at a high level. Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas have been so effective at wide receiver that I have a true belief in this LSU team. I say all that, and let's talk about the defense. So, okay, first of all, I just have to say this, and LaTerrence Welsh played some good snaps in this game, but I don't think LaTerrence Welsh has earned, based on what he had done prior to this game, granted I say that, I don't know how he performs in practice. I don't think he had earned the trust to be in at corner late in the game. There was a play where he showed lackluster effort on making the tackle. He was burnt later in the game. I don't know. I guess this isn't professional to me, but I did not know where Zy Alexander was in this game. I don't know why he wasn't playing. It was cool to see Ashton Stamps, too, the young freshman, playing. But yeah, LSU defense, to me, really just, Ole Miss, if you think about it, and I kind of talked about this, even though I said LSU was going to win that game, Ole Miss was kind of the perfect team to really expose the LSU defense, because the LSU defense even though they have guys that can rush the passer and they have athletes, Ole Miss, the way they can, the quick plays and some of the explosive wide receivers that they have they actually turned out to be the ultimate Achilles heel for LSU defense. LSU, even though they have Mason Smith, Harold Perkins, if those guys don't get home, then you're leaving your secondary in a position where they have to make some open field tackles, something they struggle with. They got to cover one-on-one, something they've struggled with. So without the quick pass rush, even though they have effective pass rushers and talented defensive linemen, Ole Miss, with some time to throw, and Ole Miss is a solid, good offensive line with time to throw. Jackson Dart and the Ole Miss offense did just that, and they have an effective enough running game where it kept the LSU defense honest. So Ole Miss actually was an offense that actually was kind of the perfect, was kind of a kryptonite, if you will, for this LSU defense this year. So credit Ole Miss. Ole Miss played a very good game. I think they truly believe they could win this game, and they executed and performed at a high level throughout the game. But yeah, LSU defense has to be better. And that's just, we're kind of at that point in the season where, LSU, obviously the defense is struggling. The offense is playing so well. With 2 losses, you can't afford another loss if you want to get in the playoffs. So to me, it's the defense has to make do or die changes. And to me, with the talent they have defensively, I think that there is definitely a case, and there's definitely hope that the defense can fix a lot of these issues. I think when you break this down into simplest forms, which I try to do as best as I can in any form of life when you're trying to evaluate something. Football, if you break it down in simple forms, you want to, stop the run the ball, stop the run. If you look at LSU's defense, they have two really outstanding players, Harold Perkins, Mason Smith. Now, you could argue that Harold Perkins is the best rush linebacker athlete, arguably just best. Make a case he's the best defensive player in all of college football, regardless of draft eligible players or not, just all of college football. And then you could argue Mason Smith is the best defensive tackle in all of college football. So just knowing that you have those two guys, that is, you get the feel, like, back to the point I made, you get the feel that if they make some drastic changes and they really get the defense to play with the ultimate urgency and at their highest level, they could make the drastic changes to really turn around this LSU defense. This could be one of those turnarounds where we're saying if LSU wins the conference title or gets to the playoff, this could be the time of the year we look back on and say, wow, LSU was really struggling defensively. Everyone knew, at least they have I'll just say this, everyone knew they had the potential, or they knew they had the offensive potential. If the defense improved, they knew that this team could beat everyone. They are, you talk about, there's a guy I listen to, a sports talk guy, you talk about non-negotiables. In LSU, when you have an offensive line like that, it's kind of like the Lions, and it's kind of like Michigan football, the Detroit Lions and Michigan football, who I follow too. When you have an offensive line like that, it's a non-negotiable, meaning that we are going to be able to at least, it's at least going to be a stalemate at the line of scrimmage. You are not going to physically beat us up at the line of scrimmage. And that's why I still have that inner confidence in this LSU team, that when you have that ability to, I'll say this, even if some games, like you argued against Florida State's defensive line kind of stalemated them, but when there's no team in the country that can physically overpower you on the offensive line, I think that gives your offense a lot of confidence. And I think that's what's really, getting Jaden Daniels, Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors, Logan Diggs, not only to play at a high level, but it's giving them a belief that they can go out and have success in any game, regardless of opponent. So LSU's 6-point favorites against Missouri this week. It's going to be exciting to see how this game goes down. We're not going to do a full episode today. I'm just going to do a clip. But, sorry I haven't been posting as much, guys. But I will be cranking out more full episodes as the season goes on. I'm enjoying this season. I know 2 losses is tough right now for LSU fans. It's really intolerable for Brian Kelly. If they don't win, if they drop a couple more games, I think you don't want to get too crazy it takes, but you got to believe that, does Brian Kelly start the season on the hot seat? Probably not, but is that chair getting a little warmer? Probably. But he understands the expectations, and like I was talking with my dad, this is a game where Ole Miss is a good team, certainly not a bad team by any means. And this sounds like I'm taking away from the way they performed in their program and Lane Kiffin as a coach. But this is a game where LSU, you just got to believe that you just have to win. And it's one of those where when you play the win-loss game, I kind of touched on this last episode, or in the episode prior, when you play the win-loss game prior to the season, this is one of those games where you just pencil in as a win. So they did not get it done, but we'll see if LSU can win out, and if they do win out, do they have enough on their resume to get them in the playoffs? But thanks for tuning in to Bayou Bengals. Make sure to stay tuned for more episodes and clips from the show. Till next time, peace.